Hello and welcome back. The film that we are covering today is arguably one of the greatest films ever made. The director was Billy Wilder and it came out in 1950 and the film is called Sunset Boulevard. The character we are looking at today is Norma Desmond, played by Gloria Swanson. I am doubling up this makeup tutorial because Norma Desmond is such a great character to do for Halloween. Make sure your brows are clear of any kind of skincare or anything. And then we're going to go straight in with a glue stick. This one is Elmer's purple glue, and we're just going to flatten the brows down, go back on themselves, and pushing the brows upwards so that I get them as flat as possible. And you may have seen that I worked backwards first, just so they have some glue to lay down on and stick to the skin. This purple glue dries clear. You don't need to take the brows out, and this is actually a really wearable makeup if you don't. I'm just doing it for accuracy. And also because I'm looking at it as a Halloween look, so I can really go for it if I do. Then I'm just going to clean off any glue that's gone over the brow and under the brow. I am using Clarins Tinted Oleo Serum. Now you can wear this really, really sheer and it's beautiful, but you can also get the most flawless coverage, so that's what I'm going for. I'm going to drop a couple of dots onto a foundation brush and just work from the brush. Let's talk about the film. Now I don't want to give too much away because a lot of people won't have seen it just because it's so old. And if you haven't, you really, really must. Norma Desmond is an aging silent movie star and she refuses to accept that her stardom has come to an end. A young screenwriter, played by William Holden, falls into her lap. She decides to hire him to rewrite a screenplay she's been working on that will be her big Hollywood comeback. And that is all I'm going to tell you because you really must go and watch it. But we are going to talk about Gloria Swanson and her character. So we are going for a lot of makeup here because she is a silent movie star who hasn't worked since the 30s. So it's been 20 years since she's had a role. And she is still doing her makeup like it's the 30s. So already the makeup is telling us that she is living in the past. Where I have microblading, I just want to remove a bit of it because they're very set in a shape that isn't 1930s. I'm not using anything expensive or special to do this, as it's a Halloween makeup after all. So I am using a little bit of Stargazer. That will do. Now I'm just going to push some powder over the top to set it. Laura Mercier. Right, I don't want to go in all gung-ho and confident with my brows, so I'm just going to plot them in first where I want them. These are much more rounded brows because they're 1930s ones, so that's why we want to plot them in first. It's not the easiest for me to do because it's quite unnatural and it goes against the natural shape of my brow. We are going to start where my brows naturally start, and then we're going to try to go as round as we can. Now it's actually the front part of the brow that is the roundest. So that's the kind of shape we're looking for. Sort of like you've put a cup on your face and drawn around it. You could try that actually. Once you've got the rough shape in, you can start building on them and going a little darker and a little fuller. The makeup in this film was done by Wally Westmore, and the Westmores are Hollywood royalty. They actually have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They're a family of makeup artists. Their dad, George, emigrated to Hollywood. He came from the Isle of Wight, and he then had 6 sons who then all went on to be makeup artists, and they also had children that went on to be makeup artists. Other films of note that Wally did, Double Indemnity, Rear Window, Sabrina, Vertigo, and Breakfast at Tiffany's. We're going to use the Viseart Grande Pro Volume 1. We need matte eyeshadows that are a brilliant texture and blend really well because we've got to blend over the brows. Guys, I'm wearing leather trousers and they're so squeaky. I will change in a minute. Start by taking a matte eyeshadow that's as close as your lid colour, all the way over the lid and up to the brow. We're not going to worry about these little bits of hair that are going to fall out, because actually Norma Desmond is going quite crazy by the time we get to this makeup, so it all kind of adds to it. I'm now moving on to a brown, this one here, but we're going to start high up through the socket, remembering that wherever you put the brush first is where you're going to get the most product. Part of the problem with this film for Gloria Swanson was that a lot of it was based on her actual life and existence, but it wasn't actually her as a character. So she had been a silent film movie star. And in fact, there's a moment in the film where she says that Paramount Studios wouldn't exist without her, and that's probably true. From 1914 to 1943, she'd starred in 75 movies. Her movies regularly made $1 million at a time when it cost just a nickel to go to the cinema. Okay, so we're going right through this socket here and blending it up to the brow. This eyeshadow goes all the way up. This film is shot in black and white, so there is some guesswork involved. Don't let the fact that it's shot in black and white put you off. It's really amazing. Sometimes when I watch a black and white film that's really incredible, I remember it in colour. This makeup is super glamorous, but it's a 1930s glamorous. And Gloria Swanson was 50 when she took this role. And they used quite harsh lighting on her to make her appear to look older than she actually was. Although, of course, 50 back then wasn't like 50 now. She's only 3 years older than me. So we blend from the socket and we take it all the way up to the brow. But we leave the lid quite light. The film is really about Hollywood's obsession with youth and the nature of stardom. I mean, she is a faded, delusional star who's desperate to make a comeback, but she's been deserted by her industry. But previously to this, she was a megastar. She was the star. Also, this film touches on the time when TV is starting to be a thing. And so there's a moment where the screenwriter says,
"You're Norma Desmond. Used to be in silent pictures, used to be big."
I am big. It's the pictures that got small.
The set design is beautiful. Obviously, she's like this Miss Havisham type character who doesn't really leave her house because she's so scared of the outside and the reality that awaits her there. And the house is like opulent and lavish, and everywhere you look, there's pictures of her in her youth. Right, next we need a gel eyeliner. I'm just using this Stila smudge pot here. So the liner goes all the way down to a point here. And it goes all the way over the lid here. It's very elevated. This is not my favourite liner brush. My Kitco liner brush is at home. I did a shoot this week and I've left all my favourite brushes at home, which is most annoying. So that's kind of the angle of the liner. Then we are going to come under the eye. So join up, and then we're going really close to the lashes. So just slot your brush underneath your lashes. When we get to the outside edge here, we're going to go a little fuller. And we go out. We're going to put lashes on, but you want your lashes to go outwards, so we brush all lashes this way. And they're quite kind of thin and wispy. So I'm just going to put mascara on the very root of the lash down here, but not to the tips, and then I'm pushing all the lashes outwards. And then I'm going to pull them that way as well. Now, no 1930s movie star is not having false lashes, so we're going to put them on, but just on these outside edges. Gloria Swanson didn't end up doing loads and loads of films after this film because it kind of typecast her in a role where people thought that she actually was Norma Desmond. One, because she was so good in the role, but two, because the script included so many parallels to her actual life that people couldn't really see past it and thought it was her. When I stick these lashes on, I'm angling them outwards as well, just so they give us this kind of lift that she has. Let's get some concealer under the eyes. We'll go with the Huda Beauty Faux Filter because it's quite heavy. Her makeup look throughout this film is the same because she starts off bonkers and she still is bonkers at the end. There aren't tons of drastic changes, but I'm doing the most Halloween camp iteration of her makeup. Loads of powder. I'm just going to take a bit of brow pen just through these brows just to strengthen them and give them a little bit of texture there. Tiny bit flat. And now the lip. Okay, now we need to change completely the shape of the lip. This is real 1930s. So think of like Jean Harlow or Gloria Swanson back in the day. This is a shape. It's really hard to do though. But it is the thing that will make everybody realise what makeup you're doing. The great thing with this Halloween makeup is that you're going to meet loads and loads of people that are either really old or film buffs, because no one else is going to know who you are, but you'll look fabulous. Ignore your own lip line, because nobody on earth has a lip line like this. Maybe Joan Crawford. The great thing about this lip is that it makes you look evil. So it's quite kind of rounded and bulbous on the sides and sort of flat and dipped at the front here. Right, let's get the red on and then I can have another look at it. This red is Ma Biche Lip Suede Matte Lipstick, which is Westmores Atelier. Tiny bit of white just in here along the lashes, which we need for our 1930s. Then you will need something like this. These you can buy on Amazon. This is your chin strap, because there is this fantastic scene where she is really deranged. Joe's been out and met another woman. He's never interested in her, and she comes out of her bedroom and she's got all of her nighttime facials, like full makeup obviously, but all of her nighttime facial wrinkle tapes on, and it is so magnificent. And that is what makes it a brilliant Halloween look. I got this dress from a charity shop. It is so brilliant. It's so perfect. So micro pore, we're going to do the wrinkle stickers. So get the thickest micro pore you can get. You're going to cut it in kind of a rectangle like this, and then we are going to cut it into a triangle. So just cut these edges off, cut the corners off, and this is going to go in here, and then we need another 2 of those, 1 for either side, in here like this. You can of course do this with paper and stick it on. I just figured this was easier because it's already sticky, you know. I'm just double sticking those so that they're a little bit whiter, because that will bother me when I come to edit this video. That's how it goes. Oh, that's much better, darling. So what you need for this outfit is something like this, that's thin straps like this. It could be a negligee, but it needs to be something that somebody that is completely delusional would wear to bed, that is insanely inappropriate to sleep in, because that will make it work. It needs to be absolutely ridiculous. Okay, let's stick this last one on. Then I can think about taking it off. And the other thing you're going to need is a bunch of tulle or netting, or a tulle or net robe or dressing gown. I bought this from the material shop. It was 16 quid. I got 3 meters and it works perfectly, absolutely perfectly for what you need it for. Anyone that is a film buff will absolutely know what you're doing here. Anyway, that's it. Thanks so much, guys. If you have seen this film, then let me know what you think. Let me know if you love it. I know you love it. How could you not? Also, I definitely want to know what you're going as this year. Okay, take care. I'll see you soon.
After that, an army of beauty experts invaded her house on Sunset Boulevard. She went through a merciless series of treatments. Like an athlete training for the Olympic Games, she counted every calorie, went to bed every night at 9. She was absolutely determined to be ready. Ready for those cameras that would never turn.